I know. Yeah, come on. It's gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you.
Because this lady said that boomers who were disciplined were basically abused. Ain't gonna be no timeouts, ain't gonna be no foolishness. When she say sit down, I promise you, we are down, and we are down for good. Mouths closed, manners firmly in place. So you don't know what you're talking about, because we were not abused as children. What you need to do is put a little fire under the butts of these kids that you don't want nobody to touch, that's out here smacking around these parents.
Now listen to me. The girl called the police on the mama went to jail.
Good. I'm glad she called the cops on her mother and her mother went to jail. Because one thing about it, and if you as a parent cannot parent your child without putting hands on them, maybe you should have never had a child. This stems from slavery. Basically getting back in the day, to get the slave to comply, what do? They put hands on you. They put switches on you. This has to stop. Maybe we should start normalizing children calling cops on their parents who put hands on them.
How come black parents are never satisfied with the punishment unless you're absolutely devastated? If you complying and not crying, then they ain't satisfied. Black parents discipline their kids. Yes, this is true. Not abuse, just discipline. People like to say black parents beat their kids and make it sound a lot worse than it actually is.
Did you get beats when you was young?
Oh. Different, man. Look at my hand, like this is nice.
That's not funny to me. That's not
But
not
I got
okay.
beats for doing dumb shit though.
And that's not okay.
No, like really dumb shit. Now look back at it. I deserve
guys,
the beats.
let's no. If you as a grown adult can look at a child that has made a mistake that is to beat them, you have no business having kids.
So you mentioned something before. You said you would call it more so not discipline, but abuse. Do you think that there's a thin line between the two?
The line not that thin. We be trying to make the line thin. A lot of parents, and I'm saying this as an educator and as a child who grew up in an abusive household, parents do not be disciplined. They just be angry and responsive.
Growing up in the 70s and 80s, I was beat by my dad a lot. Usually he hit us with a belt or he spanked us with his huge palm on our bare asses. My mom was no innocent bystander either. She was the first one to say, just you wait till your dad gets home. He's gonna spank you guys. But I actually had nightmares for years about my dad beating us.
As a parent, one of my goals in life is to never inflict on my child a humiliation punishment. I hate them. I don't understand why parents do stuff like that to their kids. I think it is traumatizing and it's borderline abuse.
None of you are going to MacArthur Park tonight.
Wait a minute.
Boy, do not test me.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that basically parents who discipline their kids have one or two problems. One, they're lazy, or two, they have violent tempers. But what I also don't have is tolerance for bad and disrespectful kids. I'm old school and I don't play like that. Speak when you're spoken to. And if you don't do what I tell you to do, get ready.
That said, I want to focus on what Dr. Martin said here, which is that parents often have unrealistic developmental expectations of their children.
We've evolved, and if you don't evolve, you're gonna die out. This culture of mistreating children and expecting them to conform and then somehow turn into rational, functional adults is over with. When they don't contact you, it's your fault. Live with it, die with it, be buried with it. Leave a note of it in your will. It's what you earned.
Younger Gen X and millennials across the board are better parents. You can get mad about helicopter parenting all you want. Their children are not dying to being left alone and causing house fires and drowning in pools like boomer parents were. Across the board, they were bad parents. They only had kids because they were told that they were supposed to.
Money? Want a quick and effective way to get results in public? Practice our look of death technique.
Northwest States salutes CBS's dedication.
We're here to investigate a child abuse complaint.
I didn't call the police. I did. She hit me with the belt.
Is that true, ma'am?
I'm reminded of a saying, and I can't remember where I learned it from. If they don't learn it at home, they'll learn it at school. If they don't learn it at school, they'll learn it in the streets. If they don't learn it in the streets, they'll learn it in jail.
Don't lie my house!
Boy, did you just hit me?
Wait, Ma.
You done fucked up now.
Oh, so you want to fight? Oh, okay. Okay, hold up. I don't want to fight.
Oh, you think you a man now?
No,
No, mama. So the next time I get on you for leaving a fork in the sink, don't call me extra, because you don't got the same set of rules as everybody else. I would rather whoop you in here so you don't get whooped in the streets.
Sometimes, God forgive me, I used to pray death upon my mom and dad. God forgive me.
But it's not discipline. It's a survival behavior that was passed down from those who were beaten into submission. Our parents were not taught emotional regulation. They were taught control and they were taught fear. And then they passed that down because they thought that was the only way to keep us alive. I can't stand when parents whoop you and then they gotta do the beat with it. Then I tell you to stop that. Stop doing it.
You talk at me, you don't talk to me. No, you're too sensitive. No, I'm not.
Studies have shown corporal punishment doesn't keep children from jail. It actually puts them in jail. I can tell you from experience, when a kid gets beaten enough, eventually they learn to take the beatings and just do whatever it is that they wanted to do way more discreetly than they did before. It is really a bad faith, open-ended question to inquire as to if you should have the right to discipline your children. Yes, you have the right to discipline your children.
Hello, my good people. So what you just had isn't just an argument, it's a generational divide. Some people look back and say, that discipline, it did save us. For others, they say that discipline, what it did was, it really scared us. And what makes this conversation difficult is that, both sides are telling the truth, but at least from their own perspectives. For some Black American parents, strict punishment was about survival, it was about respect, and preparing kids for a world that, showed them no mercy. For others, it became fear, silence, and emotional control family. Passed down, without ever being questioned. This conversation isn't about whether kids needed rules in the first place. It's about how power was used, what it taught, and what it caused. Because discipline that creates obedience doesn't always create understanding. And surviving childhood doesn't always mean, you survived from it. So today, we are not here, to mock the past or shame parents. We are here to ask the uncomfortable question, folks. Did this discipline build strong adults? Or adults who never felt safe enough to be children? Let's talk about it. So into the video, I'll be playing a couple of clips, of various creators reacting to this subject matter. Please note that full credit for each of the clips belong to their respective creators. You can consider supporting them, by checking out their work. Meanwhile, I implore you to watch with me to the very end, to the point when I come in with my detailed commentaries. Thereafter, if you find value in the content that I bring to you, consider supporting the channel by, liking, commenting, and subscribing to it. I'll see you guys at the very end of this.
One thing when they took that discipline away from us, because when they made our parents afraid to discipline the children, then what happened? We found out that the teachers were afraid of the principals were scared of the superintendents was scared of the school board was scared of the parents were scared of the children, and the children ain't scared of nobody.
It's legendary. Boy, that bitch will peel the paint off your ass. You hear me? See, one thing I hate about that damn belt, boy, that bitch will wrap around you. Boy, your ass will jump up off the ground. You hear me? Come on!
To that mother who whooped her daughter because the daughter had a boy in the house, kudos to you. She gets her belt and she whoops her teenage daughter. Now listen to me. The girl called the police on the mama went to jail.
Good. I'm glad she called the cops on her mother and her mother went to jail. Because one thing about it, people will never get me to normalize that whooping children is an actual form of punishment that works. It is abuse. And if you as a parent cannot parent your child without putting hands on them, maybe you should have never had a child. A lot of parents dehumanize their children and act like they are not human beings. I simply cannot fathom the idea of me putting hands on a child, let alone even an adult. And I think it's time we actually talk about the psychological effects that happens into adulthood when children are whooped at a very young age. Whooping is violence. It does not matter if it's done with a hand, a belt, a switch, a shoe, whatever. It's an adult using physical force on a child. A child's brain is going to process that as fear plus betrayal, not discipline. It literally wires them for anxiety, hypervigilance, and people pleasing. How many of us walk around here who are people pleasers? And the so-called children have to have respect. It's not based on compliance. It's based on fear. And I also need Black people to understand that this is not just something that the Black community does. This stems from slavery. Basically getting back in the day, to get the slave to comply, what do? They put hands on you. They put switches on you, whips on you. So that has literally trickled down from generation to generation. It damages trust and emotional safety. Kids see their parents as their protectors. When that protector becomes a source of physical harm, it confuses their sense of safety, which can create a constant low-level fear around authority figures, even into adulthood. 3, it teaches children the way to solve a problem is through violence and putting hands on other people. How many times fights have broken out because of a disagreement? Children do it. And the most baffling thing to me, and that a lot of Black people don't see, is that adults even do it. Adults put hands on each other because of conflict, and instead of simply sitting and talking about it, and we think that's normal. 4, it links love and pain in the brain, especially damaging in early development. Children associate love with hurt. And as adults, this can lead to tolerating toxic partners or thinking they deserve mistreatment when they make mistakes. Anxious attachment is also something that can develop into relationships. Lastly, it hurts their self-esteem and self-worth. The message is received as, when I make a mistake, I am bad, instead of I made a bad choice. Shame becomes part of their identity, making it harder to feel confident or take risks in life. Overall, it's just not a good thing at all. I don't understand how we have not came to the conclusion that that is messing up children to the point where it's affecting a lot of us in adulthood. And don't say, well, I'm fine. Again, are you really fine? This has to stop. Maybe we should start normalizing children calling cops on their parents who put hands on them. Maybe that's what we should normalize for y'all to maybe learn, because it's actually it does not help anybody. It doesn't.
It was a bet.
A bet? I don't care. Carlton, you are not going to MacArthur Park tonight. In fact, none of you are going to MacArthur Park tonight.
Wait a minute.
Boy, do not test me.
Yes, ma'am.
I know. Yeah, come on. It's gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you. Hush. Now fix your face before I fix it for you. Put your hand back there. I'm gonna hit your hand too, dadgummit. Move your hand. What? Move your hand. Nah, just hush it up now. Come on. Look, son, I'm only doing this because I love you. Quit all that crying and acting out. Barely hit your monkey behind.
You are out doing that. You don't listen.
I don't want to hear Nathaniel. You gonna learn, boy. Hard head make a soft behind. And you about to daggone learn today. Boy, I'm tired of your daggone monkey behind not listening. You know what? Go outside the back door and go pick me a switch. Yeah, go get it now, yeah. And it better not be a low one, or I'm gonna go get one myself. Boy, quit all that daggone crying. I ain't even hit you yet.
Don't worry about it. I ain't even gonna talk to you no more. I'm gonna let your daddy get you.
Mama, not daddy.
All that talk back. I'm gonna let your daddy get you.
It.
Boy, I told you about running your mouth in class. Okay, see? I'm gonna get you later on. I ain't even finna get you right now. I'm gonna get you for the day over with. I'm gonna get you. Get on in this house. Yes, God, I thank you for letting my daddy forget to give me my whooping. Yeah. But I forgot, huh? Wait till the perfect time. You about to be living proof that nightmares can not only happen while you sleep, but while you awake.
I can't stand when parents whoop you and then they gotta do the beat with it. Then I tell you to stop that. Stop doing it. Go on and get that stuff over with. Didn't I tell you to stop doing that? I told you didn't. Do that right there. Stop doing the direct drop the beat. Stop doing it. That's annoying as hell. Cause I used to get them same whoopings that I promise you. Every time my mama whooped me like that, it didn't do nothing for me. I still done what I was getting a whooping for at the end of the day.
Okay, I need all my boomers to unite, because this lady said that boomers who were disciplined were basically abused as children. What happened to us was child abuse. You need to shut up because you don't know nothing about no boomers. And even if you is a boomer, you that one rarity out there whose mama might have let you get away with something. But for the rest of us, let me tell you, boomers are creative and we are smart, which is why we didn't get that many whoopings. You know why? Because if your mama did this, we got that message. If she popped you one time, oh, message received. And if you were bad enough that you actually got a butt whooping, I promise you, it was one of the 2 or 3 that you got until you became grown. Because see, we wasn't trying to get beat for no reason. So we understand that you can tell us to stop one time and you don't have to count. Ain't gonna be no timeouts. Ain't gonna be no foolishness. When she say sit down, I promise you, we are down and we are down for good. Mouths closed, manners firmly in place. So you don't know what you're talking about because we were not abused as children. What you need to do is put a little fire under the butts of these kids that you don't want nobody to touch that's out here smacking around these parents. How about that? Boomers, comment.
How come black parents are never satisfied with the punishment unless you're absolutely devastated? If you complying and not crying, then they ain't satisfied. That's how it be. Tracy, you ain't do the dishes again? Oh, no, I forgot to do them. I'm sorry, I'll do them right now. Nah, I don't even want to hear it. Give me that phone. I understand. Here you go, Mom. Nah, give me that game too. You ain't about to be back here having fun when them dishes ain't done. Dang, you got bars. All right, that makes sense. Here you go. And give me that laptop too. I understand I shouldn't be allowed to socialize when I can't even do my chores. Here you go, Mom. No, alright, give me the TV. Yeah, you don't deserve no screen when them dishes ain't clean. Dang, you got bars again, but alright, here you go, Mom. You got an attitude? What? No, not at all. Get out of my house then, since you want to act like you don't care about nothing. Get out! But I just understand why you're punishing me. Get out! Nah, hey! I don't care, huh? Black parents discipline their kids. Yes, this is true. Not abuse, just discipline. People like to say black parents beat their kids and make it sound a lot worse than it actually is. Well, okay, you can have that. But you know what else black parents will beat? Yo ass, if you disrespect their children. This is not just a one-way street here. I didn't see my mother somebody else's mother up because they disrespected my older brother. Called my older brother a hoe, so she punched that hoe respectfully. And it was quite an amazing thing to see. So, the lesson here is, yes, black parents discipline their kids, but they will also go to war for their children.
Did you get beats when you was young?
Oh. Different, man. Look at my hand. Like, this is nice.
That's not funny to me. That's not okay.
I got beats for doing dumb shit though.
And that's not okay.
Oh, you know, like really dumb shit. Now look back at
okay, guys, let's no. You're a child. True. You are a child. You're meant to do all these things. If you, as a grown adult, can look at a child that has made a mistake, that is scaffolding their understanding of the world from mistakes, from touching things they shouldn't touch, from eating things they shouldn't touch, from running into places they shouldn't touch, and you think that the appropriate response to teach that child that does not have the mental cognition to be able to differentiate between right and wrong is to beat them, you have no business having kids. Let me find out somebody has laid a hand on my sister or my niece or my child, I will go to war. That is a child. You need to, like, a child is not capable of understanding. That's why you're supposed to teach them, not beat them.
You know how black parents use objects?
Yeah.
I done had objects used.
Oh, we had objects.
Yeah, I had objects used on me, but it was for things, like I said, the punishment kind of meant, like, I was doing that I had no business doing it. I knew better, and I still chose to do what I wanted to do.
So you mentioned something before. You said you would call it more so not discipline, but abuse. Do you think that there's a thin line between the two?
The line not that thin. We be trying to make the line thin, but that comes from discipleship. That's literally where that comes from, and that's to study under something. Discipline as a parent is just consistent knowledge, consistent. This is how you do, this is how you behave. Should there be punishment involved in discipline? Yeah, there should also be reward.
Yeah.
But it's about the consistency. And a lot of parents, and I'm saying this as an educator and as a child who grew up in an abusive household, parents do not be disciplined. They just be angry and responsive.
Growing up in the 70s and 80s, I was beat by my dad a lot. Usually he hit us with a belt or he spanked us with his huge palm on our bare asses. At that time, it wasn't necessarily called a beating. It was called a spanking. And they called it a spanking to minimize what it actually meant. My mom was no innocent bystander either. She was the first one to say say, just you wait till your dad gets home. He's gonna spank you guys. Why am I telling you this? Because on my social media, I share a lot about 70s and 80s nostalgia. So many of you have shared your stories about being beaten by your parents. Horrific stories. Like, what the hell, right? Somehow us kids normalize being spanked. To put it correctly, being beaten. For so many of us, it was normal to be physically abused by our parents. Both mom and dad. I don't know about you guys, but I actually had nightmares for years about my dad beating us. It was trauma. It was literally trauma. As common as it was to beat us kids in the 70s and 80s, as normal as it seemed, you guys, it was not okay. It was abuse. Having a grown-ass man hit you with a belt, or pull your pants down and smack you on your ass with her hand, that's not okay. So if you were hit as a child like I was, take time to heal from it. It's trauma. It's trauma. This is something few people talk about, so I'd love to hear your comments.
As a parent, one of my goals in life is to never inflict on my child a humiliation punishment. I hate them. I don't understand why parents do stuff like that to their kids. I think it is traumatizing and it's borderline abuse. When I was a kid, my mama had a girlfriend who I did not enjoy too much because that lady used to do the absolute most. I would get in trouble and get on punishment. When I tell you that she would take all of my clothes away that I like to wear and make me wear ugly clothes that I did not like to wear to humiliate me. That lady would take away my flat irons because, as y'all can clearly see, I have a big forehead. And when I was a teenager, I was very insecure about it. So I always wore bangs. And obviously, I'm a black girl, so I had to fry my bangs up every morning. And she would take my flat irons away so that I would not be able to wear my hair the way that I like to wear my hair. So I could go to school being insecure and just feeling ugly. Because in their mind, I was too focused on being cute and not focused enough on schoolwork. Mind you, I wasn't flunking out of school or nothing. I was passing all my classes. I just wasn't getting the grades they wanted me to get. So they would do stuff like that to me all of the time. Like, it was so bad to the point where, y'all, I would be ironing my bangs. Like, literally ironing my bangs, burning up my forehead, like, quite literally, to have bangs because they would take my flat iron. Making me wear super baggy jeans to school so that I would be super embarrassed. Y'all, I used to put on my skinny jeans, because y'all know we used to wear skinny jeans. I used to put on my skinny jeans underneath the super baggy jeans and then take that shit off on the bus and then put that shit back on before I got off the bus. Because who's doing that? Like, why would y'all do that? That was very fucking weird behavior. And I think that lady was low-key jealous of me because she would always give me lectures about how I'm not that pretty and I'm not going to be the prettiest girl in the world. And I don't need to be focusing on my looks like that. And I need to
Okay, tell mommy what you did.
I punched the boy in the face because he didn't want to share his story.
So when you fight? Yes, you fight? Get up. No!
I punched the boy in the face because he didn't want to share his stories with me.
So you punched the kid in the face because he didn't want to share?
Yes.
Okay, come on.
Okay, I'm sorry, Dad.
Did you win?
Nice. And also I gave him the nose.
Nice. Okay. Bad! Yeah, you don't do that! You know not to do that, boys. Yeah!
Let me tell you what you won't tell me, lady. Because this woman says that basically parents who discipline their kids have one or two problems. One, they're lazy, or two, they have violent tempers. I can say that I am not lazy, nor do I have a violent temper. But what I also don't have is tolerance for bad and disrespectful kids. And when I tell a child to do something, I expect it to be done, or you're going to suffer the consequences, namely a hot behind. So I don't believe that is a direct result of having a violent temper or being lazy, because, you know, we already had the whole conversation thing, which to me is the lazy way. And I see a 10-year-old child throwing her book bag on the ground in front of her mother, who's walking her to school, telling her to carry it because I'm not going to do it. And the mom is just talking to her, and she's just ignoring the mom and talking all over. And then they get home. She's eating, trying to open up candy. The mom says, you can't have any candy. And she was like, leave me alone. Kapow! Right on the backside, right at that exact moment. So I personally don't give a darn what you think, lady, because spare the rod and spoil the child, and you see that the child is already spoiled and the dad not doing anything, acting like he don't have no kids, I'm going to wear her butt out. Because it's going to be one leader in the house. Should be the husband. But if he ain't doing his job, I'll sure enough do it. Because ain't no kid going to run over me. Y'all already know I'm old school and I don't play like that. Speak when you're spoken to. And if you don't do what I tell you to do, get ready. Comment.
Because these black parents, some of them, came home and expected their child to give them the respect that the world didn't give them as a black person. And as a result, they had unrealistic expectations for their children regarding what they should say, what they should do, how quickly they should move, chores they should complete, all because I don't get respect out in this world, but you're going to respect me in my house. So they would have developmentally inappropriate expectations. They would expect their children to behave in a way that was unrealistic. And then when they didn't behave in that way, they would lash out at them. They would berate and belittle them. They would physically accost them. They would scream at them and make them feel unsafe in their own.
I could not agree more. Now, of course, Dr. Martin focuses her video on the black community, but this absolutely happens within other communities as well. Black parents are not uniquely abusive. That said, I want to focus on what Dr. Martin said here, which is that parents often have unrealistic developmental expectations of their children. One of the most common complaints parents have about their kids is that they don't listen, and that somehow means that they're justified in brutalizing them. But that behavioral pattern isn't unique to children at all. I mean, how do parents react when they're confronted by the things that they've done to their children? They also don't listen. But of course, most of us are not going to sit here and agree that we should brutalize our parents for exhibiting this childlike behavior even as adults. Adults who can defend themselves and protect themselves from your attempts to attack them. Yet we think it's normal to beat children for behaviors that most adults have not outgrown themselves. And these are children who not only cannot defend themselves from an adult, but that will be further harmed if they do attempt to defend themselves from their parent who is beating them. Furthermore, when these children grow up, we expect that they'll be forgiving towards these behaviors that they experienced at the hands of their parents, no matter how abusive and tyrannical. We will expect them to have a level of emotional maturity at 18 than their parents had at 36 and proceed to use that as a means of forcing forgiveness. We will infantilize parents who were adults at the time of having their children that they were brutalizing because they did their best and didn't know better, in order to shame adolescent children who are just figuring out their place in this world for not forgiving their parents. So we end up expecting adult-like behavior from children whose lives just started and excusing childlike behavior in adults who have been around for much longer. And these expectations teach children that a household ruled by tyranny and ever-shifting expectations is normal. That is their first experience with a lack of rights, a lack of freedom of speech, a lack of choice, a lack of ability to say no, a lack of everything. And we unleash them into the world, and when they fail, we what? Further abuse them. We forgive the failures of parents, but not of children.
This comment is what years of gaslighting does to you. Years. The fact that you think that you being beat, yelled at, and treated that way was okay is showing signs of not only Stockholm Syndrome, and if you don't know what it is, please Google it, because it's free. But it's also showing signs that your parents gaslighted you your whole life, thinking that the way they treated you was how you were supposed to be treated, and I'm so sorry for that. I'm so sorry that you think that it was okay for your parents to beat you when you made minor mistakes that they easily could have sat you down and explained. Because gaslighting with the way this generation's parents, the Gen Z parents, millennials, Gen X parents, how they treated them, gaslighting was a key part because they would treat their child like they have no respect for them, and then sit there when their child comes to them and says, "Mom, Dad, I don't like how you treated me." They sit there and gaslight them like, "Oh, you don't understand what we went through. You're upset because we beat you. We did it because we care. I only did this because we love you." Like, the biggest gaslighting scheme ever, dude. And it's honestly crazy because y'all see it as us being soft, gentle. You guys see it as us just complaining about nothing, right? But we see it as us trying to break a reoccurring issue. We're trying to break that rhythm. We're trying to fix what was done generations ago. So I understand where you're coming from this, because I understand that you probably had parents that gaslighted you and made you think that you should have been seen and not heard. So therefore, I do apologize for how you feel in your life, but therefore don't come to my page and gaslight every one of those people in my comments who are sharing their story of how they were treated. Please and thank you.
You know, something I really hate about parents from Generation X and Boomer and before is that corporal punishment and otherwise restricting a child's ability to choose their own course in life, experience joy, all of these things that they use as standard tools are deliberate negative reinforcement and positive punishment meant to inflict pain on the child in order to relieve the adult's frustration. But then they like to mask it as they're disciplining the kid. It's not discipline to instill fear in your child. That's abuse. It is not discipline to make them not want to speak when they're upset. It is not discipline to make them afraid to communicate with you in an authentic and clear manner. It is not discipline to make a child afraid to offend you. It's abuse. What you seem to think of as having your kids behave and walking all over you is a dichotomy. Fine. You're walking all over your kids. And until you grasp that fact, shut the parenting to anybody. Trust me, my daughter comes and flips me off. The last thing she finna do is get dragged back into a car and has made a scene out of her. I'm not about to embarrass my child in front of her entire social population, especially just because my ego got hurt. Instead, like a good parent, I'ma see what the hell was about when we can speak in private. If there's something underlying, then guess what? She can talk to me about it when I ask. You know what she won't talk to me after? Making a scene in the parking lot. Y'all need to grow along with the rest of society. We've evolved, and if you don't evolve, you're gonna die out. This culture of mistreating children and expecting them to conform and then somehow turn into rational, functional adults is over with. Gentle parenting is just being a parent without abusing your child. I guarantee you the way that you're talking about treating your child, you wouldn't dare do that to one of your friends, let alone one of their kids, because it's abusive. The only thing that's letting you say otherwise is the disgusting notion that your children are your possessions. And just like I told every other old motherfucker that simply refuses to acknowledge that their children are human, when they don't contact you, it's your fault. Live with it, die with it, be buried with it. Leave a note of it in your will. It's what you earned.
So I had like a random train of thought, and I thought I'd share it. I was thinking about how my community, the Black community, how the Black community disciplines their children. And, you know, most of the time, a lot of people see it as really aggressive. And I will admit, like, in some cases, like, I feel like, you know, some parents do go overboard with their aggression and disciplining their children. However, and I'm not justifying, like, wrongful aggression. However, I do see where it is coming from. Like, I don't think society or the world looks at why Black parents have had to be aggressive in the disciplining of their children. I'm reminded of a saying, and I can't remember where I learned it from. If they don't learn it at home, they'll learn it at school. If they don't learn it at school, they'll learn it in the streets. If they don't learn it in the streets, they'll learn it in jail. And I can't even remember if that's the full quote or if I quoted that correctly, but it's something along those lines. And, like, I think that just speaks to the way Black people, African Americans, have had to walk through society.
You know, we were placed into, and I'm speaking about black Americans that are here in America, and I mean all over the world, really, because, you know, we face racial injustice everywhere we go. It doesn't matter. But it just speaks to how we have had to adapt to the world around us. Like, we were forcefully put into a society that was not built for us. We were forcefully put into a society that was not meant for us to be here, not meant for us to benefit from, not meant for us to survive, really. You know, we were treated and were used as tools, disposable tools at that. Something that you can pick up and use and discard whenever it stopped working, or whenever you felt like it was no longer benefiting you and your family. So I just think that people need to maybe take that into consideration. The reason black people have had to be aggressive in their discipline and the way that they interact with their children is because they understand that once they step outside the house, that is what they are going to face. And I feel like, in a way, parents are indirectly trying to prepare their children to face that. And it may come off in the, wrong way. I feel like there could be other ways to go about doing it, but I feel like it comes from a good place. We know as adults, what you face outside of your house, and not just outside of your house, anywhere. We know that as African Americans, as black people, we know what we have to face on a day-to-day basis in society. And we have had to adapt and evolve in the way we teach our children and discipline our children to prepare them for what's coming. And I think that needs to be something that needs to be changed. Obviously, I don't see that changing. I don't see society ever fully accepting black people. I don't see society ever really reforming the way they think and feel and the way things have been built in society to ever fully accommodate us, because it was not meant for us to be there in the first place. So I don't see that, but I think that needs to be a thought that everyone carries with them. If you see a mother or a father, a black family, being aggressive to their children, and I'm not speaking of in the forms of abuse, I'm speaking just strictly in the form of disciplining. It is because we have to teach our children basically how to have a thick skin, because once they get out there in the world, it's just all hell breaks loose. And I personally don't think that's fair, but such is life.
There was no such thing as talking back to my mother. Baby, if you did. My mother said, girl, you better watch yourself, because you'll be going to dinners getting plates. She told me I'd be like that. I said, no, T. She said, every last one of them will be out your head. She meant it, because she would do it. And you know that thing, I brought you here, I'll take you out? Standard in my household. Because when she whooped you, you felt like you was going to die. You felt like your world had come apart. Oh, I'm dying. Oh, my God. And she said, well, I love you so much. I want you to understand that if I don't kick your tail, they're going to kick your tail out there. So I want you to understand some things before you leave this household.
I'm going to assume that this question is being asked in good faith about why does it seem like everybody singles out boomers. Well, first off, the easiest call out is that boomers had to be reminded that they had kids. They had to have a commercial to remind them, do you have any idea what your children are up to? Throughout the 80s, the amount of children that died under boomer and near silent gen, but mostly boomer care, was almost 60 per 100,000. The amount of children that die today is like 30 per 100,000. younger Gen X and millennials across the board are better parents. You can get mad about helicopter parenting all you want. Their children are not dying to being left alone and causing house fires and drowning in pools like boomer parents were. Boomers talked about abstinence education, right? They said, I don't want to talk about it. We're not going to talk about our feelings. We're not going to talk about things. We're going to push them all down. So then a lot of kids were left with mental health issues. Oh, you're not actually autistic. You're just a little, no, you know, because they were taught that if there was something going on with their children, it was their fault. And boomers did not want to take responsibility for anything. They talked about with this abstinence-only education, while they all had drinking problems and smoking problems, their children were told things like, if you go smoke one weed, you're going to turn into an ultra addict and you're going to get on all the hard stuff. And then when their children realized, like, oh, I smoked a weed and I'm not feeling like I'm going to go start robbing banks. Maybe those other substances aren't as bad as my boomer parents told me. Because instead of just having a conversation, a healthy conversation, because it's not like they weren't all smoking weed in the 60s and 70s. But instead of having a healthy conversation, they just wanted to ignore the issue. They told their kids things like, children should be seen and not heard. When their children said, like, hey, we grew up not really well off, can I put how not really well off we were on our financial forms? Boomers like, I don't want you to put any of that information. I don't want the government coming after me. While they told their kids for 20 years that they were going to not amount to anything. So the kids had to go get predatory loans instead of being able to sign up for low interest government loans. And so that now we have a generation of people that, because boomers didn't want their kids, you know, with their information on their FAFSA forms, we have crippling debt in the way of college education. College that they wouldn't even have gone to had their boomer parents not told them for 20 straight years, you're going to be living on the street if you don't go to college, but also I'm not going to help you. Like, across the board, they were bad parents. They only had kids because they were told that they were supposed to. And I know way too many people, even today, whose parents want nothing to do with them because it's so painfully obvious that they did not actually want kids and it was only something that they were supposed to do. And there's a million other reasons, and I know you're going to look in the comments and you're going to see them. That's why.
Are your kids out of control? Are you simply looking to get your power back? Not to fret. Introducing the old school technique of parenting. A new tutorial that will prevent your kids from turning into demon spawns. You'll learn disciplinary techniques like the buck. With our YGM technique, they'll learn the value of money by constant reminders that they don't have any.
You got some McDonald's money? You got some PlayStation money?
Want a quick and effective way to get results in public? Practice our look of death technique. This technique is often partnered with scowling of the mouth.
Right now, Northwest Fresh.
Call now, and as a bonus, you'll get to learn our A technique, a sure way to discipline your kids without even being in the room. This last method should not be necessary, but if you have a special bundle of joy that just doesn't seem to get the point, a good old-fashioned ass whooping will surely do the trick. Finalize with our tell a friend technique.
Girl, let me tell you about the time I had to whoop Tiana's ass on Thanksgiving.
We're here to investigate a child abuse complaint.
I didn't call the police. I did. She hit me with a belt.
Is that true, ma'am?
I found out from Daniel's teacher. He's been cutting class. When I asked him about it, he lied. So I hit him.
Come here, kid. How long ago did this happen?
A few hours ago.
How many times she hit you?
3. Whacked me right on the butt.
She hit you anywhere else?
No.
She hit you with her fist or another object?
No. Just the belt.
Has this happened before?
No.
All right, I'm going to take that belt and put it into evidence.
I've been acting out a little, and I felt like I had to. Am I going to jail?
You called the police on your mom because she disciplined you for ditching school.
That's child abuse. I've got rights.
Who told you that?
My friends.
Hit him again. You know what? You got some bad advice from your buddies from the playground, pal. You don't ever call the police on your mom. Had that been my mom, you'd be calling me from the floor. I gotta be back here again because you were ditching class. I'm gonna peel this big belt off and I'm gonna hit you myself. You got it? John, get inside. Have a nice day.
Listen, I ain't even gonna hold you. Parents from back in the day, oh, they ain't play. Let's go! Bro, you ever got your ass whooped with a broomstick? It ain't good. It ain't pleasant. But this right here, this shit'll leave cartoon knots on your head. Come on. Bro, you haven't got an ass whooping until you got whooped with one of these. Extension cord? Whoosh. Yeah! If you ever got your ass whooped with one of these, I know you wanted to call 911. Come on. Bro, we got our ass whooped with shit like this. A switch. Boy, they'll whoop your ass with the whole tree if they could. Come on. Boy, you can throw that shit on somebody's pupwood truck. But this right here, a clothes hanger? Boy, them folks will beat lashes on your ass. Boy, you'll feel like Toby. Come on. Boy, that shit'll make you whap up, boy. Last but not least, the belt. Boy, I ain't gonna lie, boy. That things they used to discipline us back in the day. Let's go. Number one, the belt. Boy, when your daddy took this off, you knew what time it was. It won't never a new belt. It was that old cracked up one. Boy, when you heard that buckle start jingling, you know you was finna get your ass whooped. Number two, that house shoe. Oh, they gonna set you straight over their knee. And they gonna plop, plop, plop. Boy, that shoe was hard as hell. And don't let your grandma get you. You know she got that hard ass shoe on. That one she slide her foot in. Come on. Number three, the extension cord. Black folks don't say extension cord. We say extension cord. Boy, this thing will peel the paint off you. And what's the first thing they tell you? I wish you would go to school and tell somebody I whooped you. Number four, the switch. See, the young folk hollering switches. Oh, we knew what a real switch was. And don't let them braid it together. Boy, I got so many ass whooping with these things. My mom swing that thing like Zorro. All you hear, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Oh, you getting your ass deep fried. Boy, these things right here, they'll make your skin bubble up. Coming in at number 5, a racetrack. First thing they gonna say, didn't I tell you pick your toys up? Whack, whack. Coming in at number 6, one of these plastic bats. Man, this the reason I hated baseball. I'm gonna tell you one thing, these things right here, they don't give. Last but not least, soap. You ever slip up and say a cuss word? Boy, they'll drown you with this shit.
Go out of my house! Boy, did you just hit me?
Wait, Ma. You done fucked up now.
Oh, so you wanna fight? Oh, okay. Okay, hold up.
I don't want to fight.
Oh, you think you a man now?
No, Mama.
Oh, you wanna raise your hand at your mama?
I don't want to fight you.
Okay, well come on then, let's get it.
You was whooping me for no reason. I ain't even do nothing. I just thought that was a little unfair.
Fair? Was it fair when I birthed you and had you and fed you and clothed you for 18 years? Was it fair then? You in my house.
Wait, Mom, you complaining about it being fair with stuff that you supposed to do?
The only thing I was supposed to do was make sure you made it to 18. And I'm actually kind of disappointed that you turned out to be a woman beater.
So you really gonna sit here and manipulate me like that? That's what we doing, Mom?
You know how hard it is to push out a 13-pound baby? Your head was the size of a bowling ball. I should have knew then you was gonna be a headache.
You know what? I know what your problem is. You always so damn angry. See, I went over to Thomas's house. His mom made him cookies after she put him on timeout for 5 minutes. But you like to whoop first, ask questions later. You know what I think it is? I think that bonnet too damn tight. Or that wig. But go ahead. Keep being the angry black woman.
You wouldn't be talking to me like this if your dad was here.
I wonder why I don't know him.
All right. You can call me an angry black woman all you want to. But that's because people don't understand what it's like being a single mother, raising a young black male in this society. You get in trouble just for walking down the street while being black. Timmy ain't got to worry about those same problems. So the next time I get on you for leaving a fork in the sink, don't call me extra, because you don't got the same set of rules as everybody else. I would rather whoop you in here so you don't get whooped in the streets.
No, look, I feel you, Mom. I'm just saying that you got to be a little mindful of how you deliver these messages sometimes. Because what you pass on to me, I'm going to pass on to my kids. And then that's how the cycle just continues.
You know, I'm sorry. I'm still going to whoop that ass. But I hear you, though. Okay, now bring it in. Love you. Now go wash that fork. Get your shoes up. And mow the lawn. Before 5. Love you!
I know what you're talking about, because I called her a bitch. Why should I have to listen to you?
Because
you have
I
to
have
listen to
feelings
me.
too.
I know you have feelings, but I'm the adult. And I'm not gonna tell you nothing wrong, honey. You cannot
expect me to sit there, listen to you talk, and that's it. That's done.
No, I'll give you your chance to talk.
And when I talk, you over talk me and change it to how you feel.
Okay.
Do you feel like that ever happens?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
I give her a chance to talk. She don't never give me a damn chance to talk. That's why I slept out of her when we was in the damn car.
Okay.
Because she kept running her mouth. One thing, you cannot talk back to me.
Me explaining how I feel is talking back to you.
The first time I remember my dad hitting me, because my mum died when I was 6, and I went to live with my dad, and then couldn't find my uniform. Imagine you're in a new yard, you don't know where everything is.
Uniform is very important in Africa.
Bro, instead of helping me find the uniform,
your daddy should help you find it.
Imagine, look at this boy. Look at this
again now.
Bro, chicken and chip boy, I know. I just lost my mum, bro. Like, I'm in a new yard, new school. I'm just thinking, bro, like, help me. Do you know what he said? He said, hey, you can't find your uniform. I said, no, I can't find it. He said, okay, you can't. The way they did it casually. Like, just come. He said, you come here. He said, okay, take off your clothes. I genuinely thought like man was gonna be like, yes.
I could imagine your dad as well. He's a very calm guy.
Soldier.
Yes,
bro, literally, bro. Like my dad, like
Boko's a mad thing.
He's a mad thing. He said, just lie down there for me. Went to the kitchen, got water, poured it all over like my back, got the belt, and just started whipping me, bro. Like
it's some serious army tactics.
Bro,
he was trying to get information.
I've never had anyone use water before the liquor, you know. My dad would use water, bro, to make sure. So when it goes in and your skin splits,
yeah, make it heal up quickly. That way you don't have evidence to show people.
Maybe that's what it is.
They're very clever. Your dad is an assassin. This guy knows all the tricks. But do you man ever feel like your parents abuse you? Like,
Yes. They are just lucky that I'm not a snitch.
Like the beats that man used to get. It's mad.
Oh my days, guys. I just got another flashback. Oh my days, guys. You'll be able to relate with this. You know when your mum or dad would beat you so bad, like you would come to your room and wish death upon them. It was bad, bro. After I would get disciplined so bad, I would come here, raid. I was like, I just want mum to die. Like, you know, it was so bad. Listen, it was so bad. Sometimes, God forgive me, I used to pray death upon my mum and dad. God forgive me. It was bad. I used to be like, I pray. I'm not going to say it now. I'm not going to confess it now. I pray, blah, 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 dies and rots in hell. I will be so angry just because I simply got beat, and I would wish death upon my parents. Guys, do you remember? I can't be the only one, please. I know I'm not the only one who done this shit. Please don't tell me I'm the only one.
A lot of us know what discipline is because that's what our parents called it. But it's not discipline, it's a survival behavior that was passed down from those who were beaten into submission. Our parents were not taught emotional regulation. They were taught control and they were taught fear. And then they passed that down because they thought that was the only way to keep us alive. Harming a child, whether it's physically, emotionally, or verbally, is still harm. Naming it does not make you disrespectful. It just makes you the brave one in the family that is willing to break the cycle.
It says, what were your parents 100% right about? Didn't feel like it did, but you see it.
Leaving the damn door open. Oh my God. When I was little, I used to leave the door open all the time. And my mom would scream at me. And I just thought she was crazy. I mean, she is, but for a different reason. But now that I'm grown up, do not leave that door open for multiple reasons. My number one reason is bugs. I cannot stand bugs at all. You see, the thing is, I was traumatized, okay? I was about 10 years old. I was sitting on the steps, minding my business, and one of the biggest, fattest flies ever flew right up my nose. Like, I'm being so dead ass, like right up my nose. Still to if you ever come over to my house, do not leave that damn door open. I will scream at you till your ears bleed. Not just that, I'm screaming at my mom not to leave the damn door open. Because if one fly gets in the house, we gotta stop doing whatever we're doing and kill it. Because I swear I can't do flies. They piss me off. Don't leave the damn door open.
You talk at me, you don't talk to me. No, you're too sensitive. No, I'm not. Yes, you.
Now, if you watch the full video, this young child goes on to tell her mom that you never apologized to me. When you hurt your feelings, you never apologized to me. Now, her mother saying, you're too sensitive, told me everything I needed to know. The fact that she is not listening to her child is saying, like, you're talking at me, you're not talking to me. You're not communicating with me effectively for us to get to an end point. her mom is shutting off. And this is how the bulk of boomer parenting affects the whole line down. Because this mom, I'm not going to try to guess her age, but she looks like she's around Gen X, maybe early millennial. So very much the same practices that I mentioned in the other video that I posted on my page that's pinned right now is what she's doing. She's gaslighting her child. Her child is sitting there emotional saying, you don't talk to me, you don't communicate with me at all. Like, it's not a great communication style that you have. And the mom's gaslighting her. She's like, no, you're sensitive. You're sensitive. No, 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 no. You take everything too seriously. But she's not looking at the big picture. She's now driving a wedge between her and her child. And what did I say in the last video? You're right. No call, no show when she hits 18. If she already hasn't hit the age of 18. She does look a bit young. It's just really sad that this young girl had to go on the TV to basically plead her case to the world to see how her mom acts. And I promise you, her mom probably acts 10 times worse behind closed doors. It's just super duper sad. And I feel like this is a great example of what my generation, is going through with their parents. Plain and simple. Exactly what she's going through is what a lot of Gen Z, millennial, that's what we're going through. And Gen X. I did forget to mention Gen X in my other video. I do apologize, but part of Gen X also is a part of this whole entire failed boomer parenting. And this is just learn from this, parents. Watch this video and see the communication style and learn from it and try to fix it, because like I said before, it is not too late.
This poodle had been in his crate too long. She had been home from school. She hadn't been doing what she was.
Studies have shown corporal punishment doesn't keep children from jail. It actually puts them in jail. Reason being, they don't know how to emotionally regulate because their parents' emotional regulation was taken out on their body. So when put in predicaments where they are to express their anger or express frustration or things not working out the way that they thought they would, etc., now they're throwing hands. Now they're being combative with authority. And in 2024, can we just be honest? Parents that beat their kids just don't have the patience to gentle parent. You literally don't have to do that. It doesn't help anything. And on top of that, when a kid gets beaten enough, and I can tell you from experience, when a kid gets beaten enough, eventually they learn to take the beatings and just do whatever it is that they wanted to do way more discreetly than they did before. But yeah, you can go and Google right now the outcomes of corporal punishment on children, especially black children, and how that contributes to the school to prison pipeline. It is really a bad faith, open-ended question to inquire as to if you should have the right to discipline your children. Yes, you have the right to discipline your children, but that doesn't give you the right to beat the brakes off of it. Because if your boss was to beat the brakes off of you for making a mistake at your job right now, you'd be calling the police. If your mother was to come to your home because you made a mistake right now for something she told you to do and she started beating the shit out of you, you would call the police. If your neighbor were to get angry because, you know, maybe you parked too close to their property and decided to beat the brakes off of you, you would call the police. If your partner was to get angry because you made a mistake, did something they didn't want you to do, and they decided to beat the brakes off of you, you would call the police. It's really concerning that black people are some black people, because a lot of black people of my generation are against beating their children because we were beaten and it did not help us. But I'm gonna go, just keep with me. It's really disheartening that black folks that are still beating their children feel as though that this is some helpful shit, because it literally didn't help the people that got beaten and were saying that, you know, they turned out fine, because you didn't turn out fine. Black people have some of the highest anxiety disorders, depression, anxiety, the lack of self-confidence, all these different things that, and then it really makes sense why, like, Black folks as a community can have a very hard time letting go of, like, abuse, celebrities that have a track record of abuse. Like, we see it with the Chris Browns and the R. Kellys, and Black folks have a very hard time letting these things go, and letting these celebrities go, despite the fact that there's very clear evidence that these are people that are harming other Black people, especially Black women. And I think part of that is because we were told, as our parents are beating us, they're doing this because they love us. And so now there's this very strange relationship, this trauma bonded relationship, that, or correlations that are going on between being physically assaulted and love. And I'm not, you know, saying that's an excuse for people that continue to listen to Chris Brown and stuff. But what I am saying is, if mom is beating you because she loves you, and you see Chris beating somebody who's he's in a relationship with, it's gonna be a little bit harder for, I think, those folks to distinguish why it's a terrible thing that he has a track record to continually beat his romantic partners. He never stopped beating women. And do you think he never got beat? He has a very severe anger problem. Very severe anger problem. And I'm just going to go one. Certain neurospicy kids in particular, beating them isn't going to work. Some neurospicy people literally don't feel the pain of that. Their brain does something where it doesn't connect. So you are beating a kid that doesn't feel it the way you remember feeling it, and you're getting frustrated because you're beating them and it seems like it's not phasing them. Guys, the master's tools will never dismantle the master's house. You're never going to be able to beat the badness out of your children. It's not going to happen. Stop fucking saying that. And the respectability politics of it all, sitting there in a silk press and a suit and trying to make this sound like you did a good thing. No, your neighbor did the right thing. She probably heard a child screaming bloody murder because you were beating the hell out of them for no reason other than you felt like because they did this thing, it gave you the right to put your hands on them. She did the right thing. You don't have the right to beat the shit out of your kids because they made a mistake. You don't. Children aren't property. It's really truly giving epigenetic memory, but the wrong kind of epigenetic memory. Because why are you so determined to beat your children the way that overseers and the people that owned our people would beat their captors?
I wonder if these moms ever sit back and think like, damn, I raised a fuck nigga. Like, do you, Miss Tanya, do you ever sit back and think like, man, my son really ain't shit? Or is it the delusion really just real? Are you gaslighting me? Or are you really so caught up in the delusion, right? I'm really curious about this. Like, do moms ever recognize that they son ain't it? Like, you did this, man. This is your son. You can't even see that? Maybe it's another form of mom guilt or something. Like, if I acknowledge that he a little thrown off, that means maybe I was a little thrown off. I don't know what it is, but for me, accountability is so important in any of my relationships. And just as a parent, like, I know that I want my children to be the best that they can possibly be. I don't believe in this whole ride or die mentality and I'm your family, so I'm going to hold you down. No, I want you to hold me to a higher standard than what I had. So that way I can continue to build the person who I want to be. When you have this type of like relationship with people, wow, it don't matter because I'm right with you anyway. How did this person learn? How did this person grow? And then you got a whole web of people and family members who just aid and abet and enable. Like, it's just unbelievable. It's a web of narcissistic family members. And then here I go, hi, hello. It's like, girl, what's wrong with you? Like, no, what's wrong with y'all? This is inherently wrong. I really don't understand. Is it like y'all playing a trick on me, or do you really believe that shit? Truly, I'm curious to know what y'all think. Like, y'all can hold a secret, y'all can hold a lie, y'all can hold the mess. We messy, we keeping this over here because it's about the family. Y'all can hold that shit, but y'all can't hold each other accountable. How that even make sense? Like, where does the math start mathing? And at what age and at what point, Miss Tanya? What are we doing?
Because you already know that you in trouble, right? I already know, so I'm taking full responsibility for my actions. Because I need to be better than this. This is not how you raised me. Period. Well, I'll tell you what, it better not happen again. It's not gonna happen again because I put myself on punishment. I'm not leaving this room for 2 weeks until I get my act together. Because you know you was on the verge of getting punched down, smacked down, looking up at the ceiling, getting up off the floor. I promise you, it ain't gonna be no more of that forever. Alright. You wasn't getting smart, was you? Not at all, sir. I would never do that to you. He didn't put himself on punishment. He doing that now.
No, because me, I'm beating my kids the second they talk back. Bop, bop, bop. Making Massa proud. What? Making Massa proud. What does that even mean? No, I was just saying, like, you were continuing his family tradition of beating black bodies into submission. No, beating kids is funny. We were all just laughing. I bet you they were beating kids in Africa too before anybody got there. Well, there's actually no historical or anthropological evidence of ritualistic physical discipline in pre-colonial West African societies, so you'd be wrong. No, it's not even about all that. Like, they say it's okay to do it in the Bible. You know who else used that defense? Nah. You made it weird. You gotta go. Oh. No. I'll just say this. In 30 years, after your children have been born and you've done what you say you're gonna do, and you go to them and you say, why don't you talk to me anymore? And they bring up the fact that you beat them over spilling juice or getting in trouble at school. I want you to remember this moment where you sat here, and when you fantasized about your future children, instead of being at their games and recitals, instead of walking them across the stage at graduation or down the aisle, you fantasized about holding them down and beating them. So you can tell them you didn't want to do it. You can tell them you did it out of love. You can tell them it hurt you more than it hurt them. But I want you to remember that you sat here and you fantasized, practically salivating over the very idea of it. And you laughed.
Black people helping like, man, I hope this boy woke up, washed them dishes, and that is the end of this story. Because black people here know, if your mother, single, come home from a hard day of overnight work, and that kitchen ain't clean, and you in your room nuzzled down, just warm. Your mama gonna beat you in your sleep. She ain't gonna wake you up or nothing. You don't even know you getting beat to like the third or fourth lick. You in there, wah, wah, wah. Ooh, this dream hurt. You think you on some Nightmare on Elm Street shit. You wake up, you try to run, you discombobulated, your mama everywhere, you can't get away. I slid up under the bed, my mama started beating my feet. I said, this lady crazy as hell. You gonna beat nobody's feet? Now 4:30 in the morning, I'm in the kitchen, washing dishes.
You are going to do the dinner. No one is going to help you. You are going to wash the dishes. No one is going to help you. You are going to wash the floor in the kitchen. And
are you serious?
And yes, no one is going to help you.
That's not fair. I already did a detention.
And now you are going to do this for breaking my rules.
That's so unfair. No, I don't want to do this anymore. It's really mean. It's making me really upset. Like, they're being really cruel to me. Like, I'll slap her, I'll punch her. Like, I really hate her. She's being...
I'm waiting for you. It's getting late.
I don't want to talk to you. I'm leaving.
We are leaving what? You're not going to leave. I am telling you now. I'm going to give you this punishment and you are going to do it now.
No, because you're being so unfair.
Bailey?
Don't tell me what to do. I'm not your child.
You are my child.
I am packing up my stuff because I'm not living here anymore because I don't like you, because you're mean.
America.
Hey, follow me to the bathroom. It seems like you don't want to listen. This is your last warning. If you want to disgrace me in public, I will disgrace you too. How many times have I told you about table manners when we go out? Huh?
Whatever,
it's going to be a different story if I have to bring you into the bathroom again. Do you hear me? You better behave.
Africa.
Hey, Cyrus, come for this kind.
Okay, mommy.
Oh! Uncivilized devil, demonic baboon, ungrateful mosquito. What did I tell you about table manners when we are out here playing with your food?
Black parents make their children pay bills when they still live at home because black parents hold their children accountable for their failed lives.
I got my first job at 10 years old, working at McDonald's. Yes, McDonald's. My mother, who didn't give two craps about me, took my original birth certificate and changed the year of birth. And let me tell you how sloppy it was. But during my interview at McDonald's, they questioned that I was young. I looked young, but it didn't stop them from hiring me. And what's so funny is I actually enjoyed working at McDonald's. My mom took my check every week, and it literally didn't bother me. I was 10 years old, working at McDonald's, eating as much food as I wanted, having milkshakes every day with no complaints. When I tell you, I left school, went straight to McDonald's, and I would work until closing, about like 1 in the morning, every day. And it did not stop me from going to school. Even on the weekends I worked. So I got paid weekly. So by the time the week ended, I was roughly making between $300 to $400 a week. My mom took every single check. But again, I'm 10 years old. I didn't mind. I didn't care. I was working at McDonald's. But let me tell you the funniest thing about it. I went to school down the street. And I believe at 10 years old, that's elementary school. And let me tell you the funniest thing. The kids will come in to McDonald's with their parents, and they were like, oh my God, you have a twin. There's this girl in my class. She looks just like you. Now, I was unable or not allowed to tell anybody I went to school with that I worked at McDonald's. So no one actually really knew. In their minds, I just had a twin. And, but by the time, either way, I worked at McDonald's for a good 2 years before things went downhill and they actually found out how old I was. But as I got older, I worked other jobs. So I worked all the time because after I left McDonald's, I went right to Dunkin' Donuts. After Dunkin' Donuts, I went to a grocery store. But by the time I got to a certain age, I was like, I wanted my money. So my mother, who would take my check every week, this particular time, she just said, oh, I don't want your little check. You can have it. Oh, great. So when I got my first check from this job, I made $65. At that time, $65 is a lot of money. So I had a dance that Friday, and I had told my sister, hey, let's go downtown and go buy some matching outfits so we can wear to the dance. This is exactly what we did. We went on a shopping spree. We got matching shoes, a whole new outfit, and got our hair done for $65. I think I roughly had about $5 or $10 left, so it was roughly about $55. And when I got home, my mom had literally just got home. And she was like, where'd your check? I said, I spent it. You told me I can have my check. She literally started cursing me out. She cursed me out because she wanted my check that she told me I could actually keep. Now, keeping in mind, I've been working since I was 10 years old. So by the time I graduated high school and I wanted to go to college, my mom had not one dime saved up for me. So I had to literally start over from scratch just to make a way for myself. So listening to this video said there's a lot of truth to it. But also, just for the positive side of it, it literally taught me a lot. It taught me by the time I became 18 years old that I could make it on my own. I could work a job. I can keep a job. I actually knew how to pay bills. So why stay in a place I wasn't happy with and just go on my own and make a way for myself, which I did. And the funniest thing about it, when I had my own apartment, this has to be a part 2, but I allowed my mother to come live with me in my 2-bedroom apartment, and I gave her the master bedroom. Mother ended up living with me. I allowed it because at those times we were told that you pretty much honor thy mother, thy father. So you just did as you were told. So she lived with me. She made about $80,000 a year. I paid the bills. She didn't give me a dime. And this will be a whole nother story in regards to the nightmare I lived, allowing her to live under my roof, taking care of everything, while she literally just sat there and disrespected me.
Thank you, family, for watching to this point, where we do a critical analysis of the clips we just watched, putting them into perspective and adding depth and layer to them. So at the center of this debate is intent versus impact. Intent versus impact. That's what we are going to look at in the next couple of minutes. For older generations, they often frame the strict punishment as discipline motivated by love, structure and preparation for what they term as a hostile world. But for the younger generations, their focus is on the psychological and emotional cost, arguing that intent doesn't necessarily cancel harm. Both sides folks are often talking past each other. One side says it worked, we survived, we learned respect, but the other replies survival isn't the same as healing, This isn't really about whether rules were necessary, it's about how power was enforced. Other than that, there's another recurring theme of fear as a tool. Many people recall just the look. We saw that a couple of people talk about it in the video. Silence instead of explanation. The idea is that questioning authority was disrespect. This created immediate compliance, but for critics, they argue that this came at a cost. Children, they learned what not to do, but not why. Emotional expression was suppressed. Curiosity and disagreement were framed as rebellion. For some, fear translated into self-discipline, while for others, it translated into anxiety, low self-worth, and silence. Again, one of the strongest underlying ideas is that, many of these parents didn't choose this method. They simply inherited it. Discipline styles, they were modeled, not studied, passed down without reflection, and reinforced by community norms. Some argue that this traces back to survival strategies, formed under historical oppression, where obedience could mean safety. Over time, these survival tools, they became default parenting methods, even when the environment changed. This doesn't excuse harm, family. This only explains repetition. But others ask if this was all about control or correction. You see, a key disagreement was whether punishment was about guidance or control. Supporters do argue punishment sought consequences, it reduced repeat behavior, it created structure and accountability, but critics, punishment was often inconsistent, and emotion driven. Parents punished out of anger, not instruction. Children weren't corrected, they were simply silenced. Where discipline becomes unpredictable or humiliating, it stops being correction and starts, being emotional control family. Another major concern, folks, is what, punishment teaches indirectly. Some argue that, physical punishment models violence as a solution. It also teaches dominance, not problem solving. It normalizes harm from, people who, in quotes, love you. Others respond that it was limited, rare, and symbolic. Fear of repetition mattered more than the act itself. It didn't make them violent, it made them cautious. And this is where experiences do diverge sharply, The same method, it did produce very different outcomes. But beyond that, many older voices connect strict discipline to, manners, respect for elders, and social order. But for younger voices, they challenge this by asking, is fear the same as respect? Does silence equal understanding? Why does respect only flow upward? There's also frustration about modern parenting family. Teachers feel unsupported, public spaces becoming chaotic, parents accused of being too passive. And this fuels the belief that something valuable was lost, even if this method was flawed. Now let's focus on the long-term impact, Perhaps the most painful contrast comes later in life. Some adults do say they're grateful, they feel prepared, they maintain close relationship with their parents, but others, they struggle with trust, they experience fear, panic or emotional distance. They rarely speak to their parents now, This raises a hard truth. Discipline that produces obedience, can still damage intimacy. And with all that said and done, we have to ask, the uncomfortable question. The debate isn't really, was it abuse or discipline? It's closer to, at what point does, discipline stop teaching and start hurting? And maybe even, can a method work for society, while failing the individual? So family, what's clear is this. Older generations don't want to be labeled as abusers, Younger generations don't want their pain minimized. Progress likely isn't about, choosing sides, but about keeping structure while removing fear, keeping accountability without humiliation, and raising children who understand rules and themselves. So even as I come to the close of this family, I wanna ask, did strict discipline create strong adults or adults who never felt safe enough, to be children? Feel free to engage on this topic in the comment section below. I want to know your thoughts and opinions with regards to this. And if you have your, personal stories or opinions on this topic, feel free to, this is a safe space where you can share and maybe others, they can learn from your stories. Until my next video, and by the way, if you haven't subscribed, feel free to do so. I'll see you guys in my next.